guys, welcome back to Evony with Genghis on server 68. So today we're going to talk about defensive layers. So this is from actually someone on my server, subscriber request from H-Man. So over here, he actually came from 136 with me, and he's actually adding a lot of size right now. So he's almost at 200 million. Last I recall was he was around 70 or 80 million. So he's doing a really good job here, and he wants to know what I do with my defensive layers. So I will just go into my city, and basically, what I tend to believe is whatever you have for your top troop type. So let's say you have 2 million. You have 2 million troops, 2 million T4 ground, 2 million T4 archers. You should have 25% of that in layers. So if I have 2 million ground or swords at T14, I should have 500,000 of each level from T1 to roughly T11, and then T12 start bumping them up. But because T12 should have double what your other ones are. So I don't quite have 2 million yet. I'm approaching 1 million, but my goal is 2 million. So I have done, and you can see my 13s are almost 1.5 million, and my 12s are right around the 2 million area, except for the horses. But I'm starting to get them up now again. So I'm ahead of the curve. I actually have too many layers compared to what my troops are based on my advice, but it's just my advice. So I plan to have 2 million, so I have 500,000 minimum of every single troop all the way from T1 to T10. I've made over 500,000. You could see this all the way up. So I don't have to do layers for a while now. I do still pop them in once in a while. As you could see, I have a little bit more archers, a little bit more siege. They're at 600. The next ones will get to 600, etc. Now, as a whole, I don't really have to do them for a while. I'm looking really good with 42 million total troops. Now, another thing you should have is you should have an equal amount of troops. So your swords, your archers, your horse should be equal. If they're not equal, someone's going to attack you with the opposite. So if you have a lot of horse, they're going to attack you with archers. If you have a lot of ground, they're going to attack you with horse. If you have a lot of archers, they're going to attack you with ground. Now, the one thing that is an exception is siege. I just recently got T14 siege, so that's why they're a little lower. But if you look at my T13 siege, they're much higher, and I'm now starting to really pump out my siege at all levels. If you start to go lower, you can see 700,000 11s, and at my 10s, almost 700, and at 9, 800. So siege is the one thing you should have more of. Actually, they act as a great buffer on defense, and they really, really are something that attackers have a hard time with because they see a lot of siege, and you can't really do anything except send a siege rally, and your siege is just going to go and die. But you have to do that to thin somebody out. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of defense reports. So just first one here, just on Undead today. I don't get losses until round 20. See, 136 wounded. I actually didn't know I get any. I thought that I was good all the way up, but apparently on round 20 I get 100 losses. But so hopefully we can bring that down next week maybe. And anyways, I'm going to show you a defense report now. So this is from our last battlefield, and you'll be able to see how the layers did for me. So I took a big loss here, right? You can see I lost 747 million, but I have 0 reinforcements. And this was a big rally coming at me. And that rally has all high-end troops, right? So if you look at my 35 million total troops that were remaining there, 36 million, these 11 million troops that are coming at me on offense or attacking are almost all T12, 13, 14. So probably 9 of them are. And that's more than what I probably have remaining here at the end of the battle. So what happened here, just to tell you. So basically, no one was rallying me in battlefield. We were losing it. So at the end, I poured it over to them and got them to hit me because I really wanted some of these runestone chests at the top. And I also just wanted to see how I did. So I wanted to test myself. And if you look, this guy has a massive, massive archer attack. This is Ape Alliance, and Ikram, the head guy, he 1320% archer attack. So that's a big attack coming at me, and I held up well against it. So you can look and you can see we'll just scroll past all this. This is the attackers, but you can see that it's all just it wasn't the best one to stop at, but it's all 13s and 14 archers. See 600,000 T12 archers right there. It's also the end of the battle, so they're missing some of their bigger troops as well as the lower people who fill in the rally. But what we're going to, oh, Neslo Ice, this is a Asian friend of mine. We've actually talked for a while. We used to play this server in SVS all the time before we merged, so I'm familiar with a few of them. I'm just trying to get down to my defensive area here. I wish they had it easier in reports to get there, and we'll be able to see exactly what my lairs did. So here we are, and you can see as my lairs are, yeah, they're all wounded, right? But they have to attack the lairs too, right? They don't just get to piggyback and attack your 13s and 14s. But as you can see, my lairs here, they're doing some pretty good damage, right? Like 30, 40, 50, 20. Here's my ground troops, level 5, killing 56,000. And you can see this, level 7 ground troops killing 135,000. And you wouldn't expect this, really. Level 8 killing almost 400,000. Level 10 killing 1,000,000 of the troops. And these are all lairs. Level 6, 220,000. Level 10 siege, 1.2 million. These are all lair kills. And as you get a little higher, you'll see also a lot of damage. But the fact that they have to fight through those lairs to get to the bigger troops is what keeps the bigger troops alive to be able to continue to fight. Now, one other thing I want to talk about here is your refines on your wall general. Okay, so what I mean by that is whether you're going to do whole numbers or percentages. If you look here, I have some whole numbers on my mounted troop HP. Some good whole numbers there as well on ground troop HP and mounted troop HP. And ground troop defense. Ground troop defense. Good whole numbers again. Now, when you are using percentages versus whole numbers really, really help out the layered troops. And I'll show you how they do that. So if you just look here and you add 20% to, let's just say, defense, because this is easy to look at. If you add 20% to defense here for archers, you're going to get 2,000 more defense on T14 archers. But if you scroll down, and let's just say we're looking at tier 7, 20% on 2,000, you're going to get only 400, not 2,000. But if you add those whole numbers and you're going to get 1,000, you're going to get 50% here, right, at the 7s. And 1,000 defense up at the highest level would only be 10%. So the more layers you have, the better it is to have some of those whole numbers. Now, I still recommend percentages always if you can get them, but it's not always easy. And there is a saving grace if you do get some high whole numbers, that you can know that it does really help out your layers here. I just wanted to show you one other example here on archers, because I have one on my Archer General. So here she is, Tamiris. So as you can see here on Archer Attack, she has a 581. I would like that actually to be a percentage because it's an attacking general, and generally I'm using 12, 13, 14 higher troops. So this would help out more to have a percentage at the higher end. But this is what I rolled, and it's almost a perfect number. So where I was going with this was, if we look over here and we add 581, it does not get added to this fully developed T13 Archer, right? So 581 out of almost 10,000, you're looking at only about 5.8%. But that's not actually what it is, because all the numbers go on the base troops. So this T13 Archer is actually closer to 4,000. So 581, you're actually looking more at closer to around 18, 17% in that sort of area. And then if you go to the 12s, it's about 21%, and then it gets more and more at the lower level. But percentages are preferred, but whole numbers do really work for defense. So just to recap here, what I did suggest, just getting in this last rally here. So just to recap, what I did suggest you do with your layers is whatever you have for your highest number, you should have 25% in your layers. Now I'm ahead of the curve because I did more layers ahead of time than my higher end troops, but now I'm recovering and starting to do my higher end troops. So what I would recommend is at the 13 and 14 level, you want 25% of that to be from T1 to 10. So if you have 2 million, you want 500,000 of each. And then at T12, you want double. So if you have 2 million T14s, you want 4 million T12s. And then 500,000 all the way down. So you want T13 and 14, and you want 25% of that to be your layers from 1 to 11. And then T12, you want to double what your top layer is. And that's mostly for attacking, actually, because you're going to really go through those troops while attacking. So that way you will end up still having a lot of those 12s on defense. So this is Genghis, server 68. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.